Hello everybody, it's me Ross and welcome to another video. Today I'm joined by good old Stuart Watson and today we're talking about centre halves, aka hairy ass defenders as Stuart Watson trademarks. Stu, Toto Nsiala has departed, he's joined Fleetwood Town, so you've brought us a list of 8 players Town could potentially turn to. The first man on the list has got a good CV, League One promotions twice with 2 different clubs. Who is it? And let me know your findings on this player.
Yeah, the first man on this list is Danny Bart. Some people call him Danny Bath because it's spelled Batth, but he was on loan at Colchester when I was covering them, and he was at pains to tell me it's Danny Bart. So there you go. He's at Stoke. He's now 31 years of age, as you say. He's had a couple of League One promotions on his CV at Wolves and at Sheffield Wednesday on loan, but he's played the bulk of his career in the Championship, 250 appearances around that in the second tier. And he's played a fair bit for Stoke this season, actually. He was their player of the month in November, playing at the heart of a back three. But he slipped down the pecking order because they've signed a couple of players in the January transfer window in his position. Phil Jagielka, notably, Taylor Harwood-Bellis as well. And he's out of contract in the summer. So you just wonder whether that be a deal that somebody like Ipswich could go for. There'll be other clubs, I'm sure, interested. You'll see a theme emerge as we go through this list because Ipswich aren't the only League One club that are looking for centre halves at the moment. But I thought Danny Bart's profile may just fit the bill for Ipswich.
Definitely a very good start to this list. The next man is a Welsh international and also was part of the Bristol Rovers side that saw back-to-back promotions to League One. Of course, they were non-league and then they shot right up to League One. Who is it?
Yeah, it's Tom Lochie, 14 caps for Wales. He's 27 now, as you say, part of that Bristol Rovers side that climbed up through the divisions and became a fairly well-established League One side for a spell. That form for Bristol Rovers got him a move to Charlton. He had a good season in the Championship, or a good season in terms of minutes-wise for Charlton in the Championship. They got relegated that season, but he played plenty of minutes. And along came Luton to activate a relegation release clause. They'd just gone up to the Championship themselves, and he's gone there and he's been a regular again in the Championship for them. Out of contract in the summer. Another one whose contract is up. I would say this is a bit more of a long shot. If you remember, Ipswich tried to prize Sonny Bradley away from Luton in similar circumstances, their captain and centre-half last summer. Ultimately weren't able to do so. Sonny Bradley signed a new deal at Kenilworth Road, and Nathan Jones, their manager, seems quite sanguine about the contract situation with players there. He seems to think that very rarely do they see people sort of leave on the cheap or for nothing. So bit of a long shot, but I thought I'd put Tom Lochie on this list.
That's a good shout, really good shout. And the next player has been linked to a possible loan move to Town, among other clubs interested in him as well. In the Championship with Preston. Who is it?
It's Jordan Storey, as you say. There's already a story about Jordan Storey out there at the moment. The Lancashire Post say that Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday and Ipswich are all interested, have made inquiries about him on loan this month. They are the 3 clubs in League One of a similar ilk, similar size, that are after centre-halves this transfer window. Sheffield Wednesday have got a bit of an injury crisis at the back. Che Dunkley's out for a little while. Sunderland, like Ipswich, have seen a defender leave this month, so they need some reinforcements. So you're going to see a theme there emerging with those teams being after similar sort of players, and Jordan Storey is one of those. He burst on the scene at Exeter as a young man, got a big money move to Preston, and has played a lot of Championship football for them. Again, like Danny Bart, he's actually played quite a lot in the Championship this season, but they've had a change of manager. Ryan Lowe obviously went there from Plymouth in early December, and he's not getting the game time. So there might be an opportunity to get a very decent 24-year-old centre-half on loan. I think he'd be a good signing for a League One club.
Definitely. And the next man on this list is a very hairy-ass defender indeed. 6'6". I remember him scoring 14 goals in League One in the 2014-15 season, part of the Bristol City side who got promotion. Of course, links with Mark Ashton. Went on to sign for Middlesbrough for a good money. I won't take all your thunder, Stu, but who is it?
Yeah, it's Aiden Flint. You mentioned the goals he scored that got Bristol City promoted from League One, going back a few years now. He's actually got 57 career goals from centre half, 6'6" tall. And I think goals from set pieces, goals from centre half has been something that Ipswich have lacked for a little while now. And you look at the centre half options that they've got presently. And I think as much as we're talking about wanting a ball playing centre half that can play McKenna ball and stride out from the back, that's great. But somebody who can stick the ball in the back of the net with their head would be quite useful as well. And Aiden Flint certainly ticks that box. He's 32 years of age now. He's been starting pretty much every week for a Cardiff side who have struggled this season. Obviously, Mick McCarthy was sacked there. He's part of a defence that's also got former Ipswich loanee Mark McGuinness in there, another one who's out of contract. And as you mentioned, there is the Mark Ashton links there. It sounded like he left on pretty good terms. Mark Ashton sort of said that, it was time for his career to move onwards and upwards at the time, and they got some good money for him. So you never know. That could be a relationship that is rekindled. We'll see.
We will see. And the next player on this list is more of a young signing, a loan signing. Of course, connected with Brighton. We've had that with Walton coming in on loan. But who is it? And it's another one of those England youth internationals, but hasn't had a chance yet to make his debut for the Seagulls.
Yeah, I guess the guys we've been talking about thus far are sort of well-established, experienced championship centre-halves. Kieran McKenna, of course, comes from an academy coaching background at both Tottenham and Manchester United, and wouldn't surprise me if they went down the younger loan route. Anyone who's under 21 won't take up a place in that 22-man senior squad and would give you some freedom to use that spot elsewhere in the squad. So Hayden Roberts is the guy that I'm going to be talking about here. 19-year-old at Brighton, an England youth international, as you say. He's already earned some early comparisons with Lewis Dunk, who's been, along with Adam Webster, phenomenal at the back for Brighton and has had an England call up off the back of that. Roberts is more of I've seen him described as a mobile ball playing centre back. So you would think that he would be the type that would maybe fit into what we saw in that 4-0 win at Gillingham, with players that are comfortable on the ball and allow Ipswich to play out from the back. So younger, bit more potential there. That would be a sort of a short-term loan. And as everything on this list, Sheffield Wednesday have been linked. It was on the Aiden Flint one. It was remiss of me to say that Sunderland have also been linked with him, because obviously Lee Johnson was his manager at Bristol City. So that theme continues there.
Definitely. And next up on the list is a very left field choice here, Stu. A player who has connections, though, once again with Mark Ashton, has been playing his football in Russia, has been injured for a while, but very left field choice, Stu. What's you working out here? Why is this? Is it because of the Mark Ashton link?
Yes, basically that's it, Ross. Yeah, this is a bit of a left field choice, but I thought I'd put him on here as a bit of a conversation starter. It's Hakan Magnussen. People will probably remember him best for playing for Iceland at Euro 2016 when they knocked England out, of course. And he got a move to Bristol City, Mark Ashton's Bristol City. Off the back of that, he was at Juventus at the time, hadn't played for them, but went from Juventus to Bristol City in quite an eye-catching move. Had a good couple of seasons in the Championship for them, and then was sold on to CSKA Moscow in Russia. And by all accounts, has been quite a popular figure over in Russia, has done well for them until last April when he snapped his Achilles and had surgery on that. He's been working his way back to fitness ever since then. And I read an interview with him from just a couple of weeks ago where he's sounding very positive about being back on the grass and ready to play again when the Russian league resumes following its winter break. He's another one who is out of contract in the summer. I thought I'd chuck him on there as a conversation starter. You never know, he might fancy coming back to England again, and there is those Mark Ashton links.
Of course, it'll be very interesting. Definitely a conversation starter. Next up is a man who has had 18 different clubs. Pretty much a lot of them have been loans. I do remember signing him back in the day on FIFA when he was at Reading. He's currently at Fulham. Who is it, Stu?
It's Michael Hector. And what a bizarre career the Jamaican international has had. As you say, 18 different clubs. If you remember, there was that move from... was it Reading to Chelsea, which happened sort of completely out of the blue, and everyone sort of thought, really? he went to Chelsea. It didn't happen for him at Chelsea, but he's been a real sort of Championship regular for clubs like Reading, Hull, and Sheffield Wednesday. But now he finds himself a little bit down the pecking order at high-flying Fulham, who are scoring goals for fun and look like they could be heading back to the Premier League. Once again, another player who is out of contract in the summer. Whether Fulham would be prepared to let him go now, or whether they want to keep him for a little bit of cover because of the COVID situation and revisit it in the summer, I don't know. But Michael Hector, he's one that's being speculated about this month, so he's on the list.
On the list. And the final man on our list is a man who nearly signed for Town back under Mick McCarthy. I think I've got that right, Stu. I remember seeing a story you wrote back in 2017 or whatever it was. Of course, has been at Rangers for a while. Would be a great signing at this level. I'll be very happy if this did happen. Who is it?
Probably the most ambitious name on this list, and that's Connor Goldson, former Shrewsbury and Brighton defender, who has gone on to be a real key figure at Rangers over the last 3.5 seasons. Widely reported that he's turned down a new contract at Rangers and will be moving on in the summer. So whether Giovanni van Bronckhorst is tempted to cash in now and get a little bit of money, it looks like he's got some decent other defensive options up there. So they may be tempted to do that. So him leaving Ibrox looks a good bet, but getting him to League One would be again a major long shot, you would think. But Ipswich have done business with Rangers a fair bit in recent years. George Edmondson, of course, trod that path last summer. Previously, we've had Waghorn and Garner as well. So yeah, long shot. But Connor Goldson, I thought he was worth a discussion at the very least.
Definitely. And you're saying long shot, but some of the signings were made, like George Emerson was probably a long shot. Sam Morsey. Many other players who were signed have been long shots. Connor Chaplin. So you never know. Watch his space. Stu, any other notes before we wrap up?
Yeah, those are the players that I put on my list this morning that's gone online. But I've been interested to see a few replies in the comments from fans. And there's a couple of other names that I thought I'd mention off the back of those. Liam Moore, who's there was a statement on Saturday that he's been stripped of the captaincy at Reading because he's stated his desire to leave. 28-year-old, plenty of championship experience. He's had a loan spell at Bristol City in the past, so there's a little link there as well. I think that was pre-Ashton. And the other one is Harley Dean, who's been transfer listed by Birmingham boss Lee Bowyer, 30. He's played a fair bit in the southeast earlier in his career for people like Dagenham and Bishop Stortford and Braintree early in his career, and he's played loads of championship football for Brentford and Birmingham. So yes, thank you for the replies in the tweets. A couple of interesting names there that I thought I'd mention.
Definitely. I can't wait for this. It's going to be an interesting window, seeing if we're going to sign any of these hairy-ass defenders still. I know this is your specialty. But thanks for joining me, Stu. Let us know in the comments any more names, your thoughts on Stu's list, and we'll see what happens. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for future videos. Bye-bye for now.